Hello, everyone, and welcome to another PSPDFKit webinar. My name is Richard Malloy. I'll be leading this. I'm a member of the sales team. I'm a vice president of sales. I've been at PSPDFKit for close to 8 years. Today, joining me is Guillermo, who is one of our web engineers. He'll be in the background during the presentation to answer any technical questions, provide documentation. Typically, how we run this, we'll go through some common use cases of PSPDFKit and some of the technology stacks that we provide. And then in addition to that, we save some time at the end to bring Guillermo back on if there's anything we haven't addressed. But he's pretty great at getting answers quickly out in the chat. So feel free to drop things in as you need to. We'll wait a couple more minutes for everyone to be able to get situated, but I am going to head and going to share my screen so we can run this. Okay. Wonderful. And just for a few notes, this is being recorded. Anyone who's registered for the event will receive a recording. We'll also provide some information and how to get contact with us in case you have any questions. We can set up a call or handle something through email or support. So yeah, cool. So we'll go ahead and get started. So PSPDFKit. PSPDFKit's been in the space for nearly a decade and providing a comprehensive solution for rendering and manipulating PDFs. Primarily, we got our start on mobile with an iOS framework and have kind of built out a product suite over the years to be able to provide PDF support across other different devices and operating systems, including both front end and back end solutions. Over the past year, we've also gone through several kind of mergers and acquisitions to bring more technology under our umbrella so that we can be kind of a one-stop shop for developers and things like that. Cool. So today's demo, primarily, we offer a number of different frameworks. So what kind of separates PSPDFKit from other solutions in the market is that we provide a number of different frameworks here that you can integrate our document manipulation through. Each one is tailored to the different operating systems, from how the document is rendered, the UI, the UX, things like that. So we pay a lot of attention to detail so that when someone is working with a web application, the interface and everything like that is what someone would expect. Our goal is to be behind the scenes while you're able to kind of support your customer. Same things with like iOS and Android. We've tailored our UI so that it looks specific to that operating system and what those users will be, familiar with using, along with the gestures as well. Excuse me. So yeah, one of the things there is like, with changing system requirements, it involves us to have to, readily update our framework. We push releases about every 2 to 3 weeks and have a major one each quarter as well. So, in terms of our product suite, you can see a number of different things, including Windows, Mac Catalyst. We've also commercialized both a Flutter and a React Native SDK, seeing the adoption of that in the market. We also have seen a need for being able to support, a PDF rendering and manipulation experience in different systems such as SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive. I believe we're finalizing something for Salesforce right now. So these are our front-end SDKs. In addition to that, we also have a number of server-side libraries that you can integrate as well to, automate and support kind of different batch processes of documents and things like that. So that is kind of where we stand up against, where you can use PSPDFKit. So the window you're seeing right now that I'm using is our web showcase. So web showcase would be our web framework that we've basically put in a nice little tool to be able to run webinars like this, but also let people evaluate. So what you see in this dark black box is actually the SDK itself, the standard UI that comes with the framework, so that when you plug and play our framework into your web app, this is what would appear when you go to render a PDF. However, this is highly customizable. You can see we've added, a contact sales, a free trial button, things like that on the top, as well as a custom sidebar to push us through some different things that we'll check out today. So yeah, so kind of how we'll go about this today is that we have a kind of modular approach to providing PDF support. Not everyone needs as a robust functionality that we provide. There's also stage rollouts. You might have sprints dedicated to how you're going to be deploying our framework into your application. So what we've done is we've modularized the SDK. What that means is we allow you to pick and choose kind of the features that align pretty closely to the PDF specifications of like what you want to do, starting with our viewer as our base component with our front end web framework. So everything's built on top of the viewer. So to enable PSPDFKit, you first need to use us to be able to render the document. So looking into the viewer, wanted to have an opportunity to highlight some of the things. We talked a lot about UI. So, some of the changes that you've seen already in the demos, like to be able to change from a light into a dark mode. This is something we discovered years ago working in the aviation industry. Customers like United Airlines, who like pilots and flight crews requested that being able to switch from dark to light mode overnight with flights was really important. So, customizing that UI to be kind of specific to the workflow that someone is doing is something we take a lot of pride in. So in terms of the viewer itself, we support a number of different documents. We have images, PNGs, JPEGs, TIFF files that we're able to convert to a PDF and then use PSPDFKit to view them. We also allow Office documents to be converted to PDFs as well, and be able to use those. You're able to use this demo to actually upload your own documents so that you're able to kind of experiment and see the fidelity of things like that. There's a number of open source tools in the market that allow you to kind of view and convert documents. We like to stand on our own saying that we've had, have the top performant, web framework along with one of the best fidelities in terms of Office conversion through one of our products called GD Picture. So yeah, viewing, being able to render quickly is something that, we take a lot of pride in, and being able to get that document to your end users. Even though the PDF spec is quite complicated, we understand that your users aren't going to understand why something's not rendering quickly. So, different UI manipulations that we've done in the past based on customer kind of request is a kind of a flipbook workflow where you can see where for any UI designers on the call, you can see where we're able to kind of mimic the ability to look through a document much like a publication. PDFs are a predominant format or document type in the education and publishing industry. So, providing this experience to be able to flip through PDFs like this is something that's something we worked on. All right, go back to the viewer. A common question we get asked about the UI is, can you customize it? Yes. So we provide a number of customization options in terms of being able to come into the toolbar and first start with just being able to disable icons. You can see a number of different icons that we include by default, but being able to come in and simply just remove certain icons, only provide support for certain things. Let's say maybe you have a PDF that you need to keep secure. You don't want other people to download. We'll come through our UI design. We'll want to take away from print. We'll want to take export out so that, we're keeping that document, within our ecosystem of our application and not let that be downloaded. Other things we can do, we do support text selection, but you can actually like disable that as well. So you can make the PDF quite secure in terms of being able to make it difficult for people to take the document. This might be, you might be working in a virtual data room. You might need to show documentation, or you're selling books as well, and you want people to you want to be able to protect that content. We can give it to you from a UI perspective as well as like a deployment perspective. So from our toolbar customization, theming as well. Obviously we've got an excellent group of designers that I think have put together a great UI, but you can come in and change certain things about the UI so that it fits kind of what you and your logo and your company colors, and kind of manipulate that UI. I'm not too proud of that. That doesn't look very good. We also allow other customization, such as our sidebar here as well, to be able to do certain things in terms of displaying search results and things like that. So yeah, customization is a huge part of PSPDFKit. We do provide some industry specific solutions. If we were going to go back to our main page, you can see from some of the companies that we work with that are in the construction industry, the e-security signing industry, cloud storage, and aviation. We work in a number of different industries and provide as much as we can a generic toolkit that you can customize to fit your workflow. However, then loading streamers. Okay, cool. It looks like we're good to go. All right. Had to check in on the chat. However, we do want to provide opportunities to be able to further customize our framework so that it can fit your requirements as well. We have a very reactive engineering team, so that if you are evaluating PSPDFKit and you have any questions on maybe how to achieve something, we're happy to help. We also have our solutions pages where you can see different industries that we work in specifically. If we were going to go to construction, which is very document heavy, you can even see some of the companies that we worked with over the years and that currently leverage our technology, as well as different capabilities that you can use with PSPDFKit. And at the bottom, we actually make some recommendations on what feature flags we think you should include. So it kind of helps you move along in terms of being able to support the workflow you want to, and you can jump through this, which is quite useful. Cool. So back to our trying to keep the chat open on the other side. All right, trying to get back to the demo. In terms of our viewer example, okay. Different things that our viewer will allow you to do, toggle through the documents. We want to be able to zoom, working in construction as well, being able to zoom to a certain level is very important. Snap to page. We do allow you to search within the PDF as well, where we can display search results. You can see on the sidebar, we can also allow you to have a more of an index search across the document as well here that you can see. So yeah, cool. Following the PDF spec, so in terms of what is needed to support other workflows, our probably most common use case that people come to us is for annotations. As you can see from our list, we support 27 different annotation types. We commonly joke that if you could find one that we don't have, then please let us know. We'd love to add it. But with some ability to use open source tools in the market for viewing, as well as other options in terms of being able to view a PDF using a web view. Typically when people are coming to us, it's with the requirement to move past just viewing and being able to annotate the document. When we look at annotations, we've got quite quite of a range of different things you can do. You've seen me use some of the tools already in terms of, being able to, mark up this feature sheet, but also, just different things such as, freehand drawings. You know, One thing to note with our annotation, we do have an inspector on all our annotation types, and then you can further customize if you don't want the PSPDFKit blue, being able to change the color, the backfill, the opacity or transparency of the document, as well as like the line thickness, as well. You can see this as well. So yeah, this is just a freehand annotation that allows you just to drop that. We also support highlighting, so being able to freehand highlight. One of the things that I really enjoy about our framework is the popover if you do text selection. So if you highlight text, being able to highlight it, be able to strike through, underline, things like that. Common things when reviewing documents as well. We've even enabled 2 other different features that I will go over here in a minute, so we don't get too far ahead. Yeah, so annotations, and then need to be able to erase things, of course, if we make any mistakes. Cool. Other annotation types, being able to stamp things. This is highly used in like the legal industry when like reviewing like complaints or legal documentation. We have predefined stamps that you can use. However, you can create a custom stamp with the SDK while using our UI. We also allow you to upload your own stamps as well, which could be super helpful. I think we have a customer who works in the insurance industry, and they actually use custom stamps to recreate traffic accidents to submit insurance claims. So, a wider range of use cases there. You can also upload an image as well if you'd like. So if you want to add an image annotation to the PDF. In terms of other annotation types, we have sticky notes where you can be able to change this as well. Free text search, being able to type on the PDF. Great. And then shape annotations. Another example of being kind of industry specific is we've added cloud annotations as a shape annotation after hearing from customers. So that's an industry specific annotation type that they need to be able to communicate with people when working on documents. Cool. Undo, redo. All right, wonderful. All right, just moving right along. So if we're following the PDF spec, there's certain dependencies. So like to be able to annotate a document, you have to be able to view a document. The next step in kind of the technical dependencies here would be forms. PDF forms or PDF acro forms is a subset of annotations. You're essentially bounding an annotation to a certain part of the PDF. What that allows you to do is you're able to collect data, input data, and kind of force a certain workflow for end users. So when we look at forms, there's 2 major things we want to highlight. We have a PDF form filling. So like if this is a form already exists, you're able to kind of render that and then fill that out as well. For that to render, we can come back to that. In addition to being able to render the document, something else that we're able to do recently is we built out our own form creator as well, which is something that is providing a ton of value in the industry in terms of being able to create PDF forms. Let's see if I can get in on another. I've had a bit of technical difficulties. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay. Well, we can show through something else while that loads. So if we're looking at forms, what you can see is that, we allow the ability to fill out PDFs, PDF form fields. So that can include text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, things like that. The number of API hooks we expose that you'll be able to, what you're able to do is you're able to, fill out forms, but then you're also able to map that form information either to programmatically pre-fill those form fields, but you could also collect the information in like your database or anything like that, to be able to, take that information people are filling in the forms as well. Not sure what's happening today. Our web demo seems to be struggling for me. Let's see if I can get it moving on another browser. Okay, it seems like we're back. Apologies, it seems like our server might have been having some issues. Wonderful. Okay, back at it. Okay, so in terms of like the form field, we're able to fill out these forms, and what you do with this information, you're able to map this again to your existing database, so you can take this information and collect it as well. Again, we do radio buttons, we do check boxes, things like that. So it's a great tool to be able to fill out forms. You can see in some scenarios, we allow you actually to also programmatically fill out stuff, so that if you wanted to map certain like first and last names to the form as well, you could see had those pre-filled out. Since this does follow the PDF spec, I saw a question around Flutter and React Native. Most of the stuff I've covered today is pretty standard across all solutions that we offer. One thing that is particular to our web framework that we've recently later is called our form creator. This provides a huge value add to a lot of different use cases where I'm able to edit an existing form. So if I needed to, delete a form field because I didn't want it and replace it with something else, I'm able to work through, creating a custom form from scratch, or just need to, change something that wasn't the way I wanted to, and then I can, use our UI, or I can use one of the APIs to programmatically go through this. So I could do, this is going to be knowledge level. I can go through the different options I want. So enter description here. We could do, this is a data science course, so we'll do expert and novice. Okay. Text box, I can change the UI appearance of it, so that I'm able to go through this. So, different use cases. Do I want this to show why I print it? Text style, things like that. We do allow quite a bit of customization here as well. And then you're also able to put in the custom date information like that and how you want the information to be handled. Got the unique identifier here. So now you can see that I've added this. If I wanted to, I could open the document and then do that as well. I can also enhance the form in terms of putting headers and stuff like that. So, where can I use a form creator? A lot of different places, work order forms, templates, something you might be been doing by hand repetitively and you fill out the same form. You could use our form creator to create a PDF template, and then from that template you could then use our framework to then fill that out, and kind of track that information. A big industry that we have been seeing this being used in is the signing industry. So if you were trying to sign documents, what you would be able to do, you'd be able to drag and drop certain things onto the PDF, such as a signature box as you see here. so that you can, add signatures and different informations to a PDF. Cool. All right, so moving right along. So we covered forms. Other things that we'd want to cover in terms of common use cases for PSPDFKit is signatures. Signatures is a big value add for wide documents. Specifically, PDFs have a lot of value in today's workflows. PDFs provide a level of kind of reliability and authenticity. And so, especially with the changing e-signature laws over the past couple of years, with a lot of things going remote due to, COVID and the pandemic, a lot of notarizations and, signature workflows are now being allowed electronically. So when you look at PSPDFKit and how we've adapted to kind of support that, those workflows, we offer two different things that you can do. First off, we built a signature UI that we loop in with our electronic signature feature, which allows you to sign using electronic signature. So John Smith, as well as uploading an image or typing your signature out. The benefit to the electronic signature thing that it auto snaps it to the signature box and puts it there. From there, I can flatten the document if I wanted to, I'll download it, and that'll allow me to open that document with my signature example, and I can see that it's there as well. Okay. Moving back to signatures, there are two different types of signature types that we do support in terms of a workflow. The second one would be a digital signature. So, PSPDFKit is not a signature authority, although we provide the vehicle to basically apply and verify a digital certificate. So once I'm signing this and I've got a certificate, I apply the certificate to the PDF. And you can see that anyone who opens this document is going to see that within PSPDFKit and other renderers that the document's been digitally signed and the signatures are valid. We do a ton of QA so that we have cross compatibility with a lot of other PDF solutions like Adobe and things like that. As we know, documents make their way through different renderers, different annotation tools, things like that. So, things that follow the PDF spec typically are going to be fully supported in PSPDFKit if they've been manipulated in another tool. What makes digital signature so special and what we're able to do is if this document at any point is manipulated with like a simple annotation, we're able to invalidate the signature and show that the documents are modified. So you would be able to know that, since this document was signed, that the signature is no longer valid and that it's been tampered with. So a huge value add here in terms of the, working with PDFs and things like that. Yeah. Yes, Jeffrey. Yep. Good question. Guillermo beat me to it. So we have, most of the stuff, I'm covering at a very broad level. I've got to shout out to our marketing and engineering team. Our documentation is pretty great in terms of, what Guillermo's been pulling from. So, being able to go to our documentation and then just typing in digital signatures, we're able to giving you a whole guide on like how to validate and things about that as well. So I'm sure Guillermo will be following up with a custom guide link as well. Cool. Other things that we just wanted to touch base on for more of the common use cases. When we look at how PDFs are commonly used and needed, and kind of where would you have to leave your app to do something with the document? Because that's the ultimate goal here. Being able to do everything inside your application, inside your ecosystem, you don't have to leave. So being able to do page manipulation within an application is super important. Being able to rearrange pages, delete pages, rotate them, merge, add blank pages if I needed to add a cover page, things like that. Then I have the ability to either save as a new version, or I can override the existing version of the document itself. But this gives me a lot of flexibility in terms of like being into my application, understanding that I need to pull in another document to submit this. Maybe you're going into a board meeting and you need to add two documents together. You can do it within the application. We also have built out a document crop if you needed to, crop certain pages so that you need to remove information that the existing page no longer needs. If we are looking at removing information, one of the things that we're certainly proud of that we've helped bring to a lot of users is redaction. PSPDFKit is one of the few tools that allow you to permanently redact sensitive information from a PDF, and that includes removing the underlying metadata from the document itself. Commonly what you'll see is, people will simply support a rectangle annotation and they'll put backfill on it. The issue with that is if I do that, if I just put backfill information and I flatten that, if I search for the word, it still hits. So if I move this over this, like if I'm searching for application, those things are still showing up because we haven't removed the underlying metadata for it. What PSPDFKit does is I'm able to select this for redaction. I can make a note that, needed to redact this for Thursday's webinar. I can also come in and put an overlay on top of the redaction so that people can know why it was redacted. And then I can apply the redaction as well. So you can see the overlay there. If I go to search for application, I no longer hit that anymore. There's one less instead of 6. So I permanently removed that. We've also built in some searching and redaction tools for people to use. So, if you're looking for certain things, like we've had some pre-selects of like, go ahead and search the document for all credit card numbers. So I hit mark redaction. I can see that it found it. I can see the preview, and then I can apply this redaction. So this is a custom example. So part of what's great about this sidebar here is that all of these are custom examples that we expose on GitHub as open source examples. So yes, you can plug and play PSPDFKit. You can use our thumbnails features. You can use outline, annotation lists, things like that. Like we have so much stuff that's pre-built that you can use. But from there, again, we, bookmarking, things like that, that's included in the viewer. What we do from there is then you can get into the sidebar and you can go to the code samples that are here that help you do this, as well as, go to the documentation on how to do this as well. So this is a really good place to start if you have certain use cases in mind that we might have already built something out. So, we get you to a certain point in plugging us in. And then if you have a use case that you need supported, we can get you even further towards that as well, which is really great. Cool. Looks like we've got about 10 more minutes. One thing I do like to go over during these demos is something that PSPDFKit has basically helped to bring to the market, which is something we call PSPDFKit Instant. So PSPDFKit Instant is basically a collaboration engine that mirrors a lot of workflow tools that enable basically a real-time syncing of documents. So what I can do is I could take this URL, share it with anybody, share the document with anybody, and within the application, if anyone marks up or changes the document, that is reflected in real time to anyone who accesses the document. Think like almost Google Docs, but for PDFs. PDFs have been around since the 90s. Workflows have obviously evolved since then. So it was our intention to bring PDFs to more of a modern workflow. So we've done certain things like, adding threaded instant commenting. So like being able to comment on something and then have a threaded reply through multiple users. I could add I could use an API to add author names here. So that helps us collaborate on the document. So, any changes to this is reflected for all users that have access to it, which is pretty awesome. Essentially what this does is our web framework comes in two different variants. One is a client-side integration called PSPDFKit for Web Standalone. We call it standalone because it's fully client-side. There's no backend requirements. It's backend agnostic. I see Jeffrey asking about .NET. So, our web standalone SDK can run entirely client-side and allow the rendering and manipulation to happen essentially in the browser. When we look at our feature list here that I've certainly marked up, the majority of all these features are supported entirely client side. When we start looking at, our server backed integration, which you can see the drop down here that I've been toggling through, standalone versus server back up here. The server back includes an additional server component that's delivered through a Docker image that you deploy on your backend. This helps power certain workflows like Instant. So we're able to send these changes in real time back to your server. Everything's self-hosted, everything's contained, and allow that collaborative workflow. We even push to the point where we have the ability to customize permissions where people are able to decide what you can and cannot see, which is quite great. So I'm going to switch over to the server. So one of the benefits of our server backed integration is, it's a bit more performant because we're then able to lazy load the document. With most client-side integrations, you do have to render the entire document before you can start. PSPDFKit, we have consistent feedback that we're one of the fastest, if not the fastest renderer in terms of PDFs. And then we have an additional server component that can even boost that performance and allow you to lazy load the document. But when we look at different tools like instant collaboration, it's simply a document-based collaboration tool that's going to send these changes back in real time, which is pretty awesome. So if you want to test around, you can copy the URL with different people and be able to collaborate on the document itself. So you can see these changes happening in real time. So great. We are right about time, but wanted to finish with showing a couple things to take away from here. So where did I spend most of the webinar day was basically in our web demo. As some people ask, we have a number of different SDKs for different operating systems. Most of the functionality is we do push for parity across every framework that we offer. Some small changes here and there based on kind of use cases and what we expect people to do with a web app versus a mobile app. Alternatively, you can also come into our free trial. What the free trial does, it allows you to deploy our latest version, all the feature flags that are supported with that tool. And then we walk you through getting started. The only difference between the trial and the production version is that we throw a huge red watermark on the document. Sorry about that. We can help you get that removed with the paid version, or we can send over a temporary key to validate features and things like that, because that move from trial to production, we'll want to get those features right. If you need help, you can come talk to me, come talk to the sales team. We're interested to hear about what you're working on, who you're building this for, and the different SDKs that you're interested in. From there, we can walk you through kind of the different offerings and kind of help build a custom package in terms of both a business model as well as what features that you need. being, a bespoke business model, it's our effort to work with companies of all sizes. So we definitely want to hear about what you're working on and how we can help. If you want to skip the form, we do allow you to schedule a call directly with our team, which, they show their availability. I'm on the West Coast of the US, so it's about 7 in the morning. So I could probably get on a call with somebody in about 5 minutes. So that's fantastic. Love that tomorrow. So moving from that, we also have, a very robust engineering team. If you want to talk to technical support, submit a request. We have a crazy fast response time. We're also willing to get on any type of technical call as well, to talk through your requirements and things like that. So great. I could probably keep going. Gonna see if we have any more questions in the chat. I am going to put my email in the chat as well if anybody wants to take it down, or you can contact us, the sales team, directly. I'm also putting our support link as well in the chat. So if you want to go directly to the source, here are some things that you can go. Guillermo, thank you so much for jumping on. You're always a great help. I hope the documentation has been useful to everyone. There's a lot here, and we're happy to have another discussion. We also have a number of server-side tools as well that can programmatically redact documents with no UI kind of front-end component. So there's still a lot more to unpack under our products that we're happy to kind of walk you through with our product specialists. But all right, wonderful. Well, if there's no more questions, we can wrap this up. This will be sent to everyone in an email. I appreciate everyone's participation, and I look forward to hearing to somebody in the future. All right, thanks again.